Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new lesson. This is Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. In this lesson, we are looking at decimals. We want to understand the basis of decimals. So without much ado, let's quickly look into it. So when we talk of a decimal, what do we mean? It is just a nice way of writing fractions, especially if the denominator is what? 10, 100, 1000. What I mean is, if the denominator is a power of 10. So a very, very simple way we can write a fraction if the denominator is a power of 10. So for instance, if we have 7 over 10, if you want to write it as a decimal, then it is actually going to be 0.7. So before I explain how we get it, let's know the parts of a decimal. If you have any decimal at all, so let's say you have 2.478, and then goes on. So it is important to note that when you write a number in decimal, each digit has a place value, just as we do for the normal counting numbers. So in that case, this 2 digits that come before the decimal place, use the normal place value reading. So if we have 2, we simply mean 2 ones, and then the 3 becomes your tens. You see, but if it comes to the decimal part, we call this here the decimal point. Take note, that is the decimal point, and then it's very obvious, as you know. But the first digit that comes after the decimal point, we call it the tenth. Tenth is spelled T-E-N-T-H. That is 10, and then you put the TH at the end. What that means is it is over 10. That is, if you have 10 portions, you are just picking 4 out of it. You see, so we say 4/10. The 7 you have here, on the other hand, is 100th. What do we mean by 100th? It simply means out of 100 portions, we are picking what? 7. Do you see? 7. And then it goes on and on. So the 8 then becomes, what do you think? You should guess and then give it to me in the comment section. Well, if you're able to guess, then that is good. So the 8 becomes 1000th. The place value of the 8 becomes 1000th. That is 8 out of 1000 portions. You get it? This is the whole idea behind decimal place value systems. So the whole number side, that is those that come before the decimal point, use our normal place value to tell. But then after the decimal point, then we are talking of the 10th, that is a portion out of 10. Then the 7 becomes 7 portions out of 100. 8 becomes 8 portion out of 1000. Then the 3 becomes what? 3 portions out of tens of thousands. You see, the TH at the end should be heard when you are pronouncing it. With that said, we are coming to look at how we can actually change fractions written as numerator over denominator into their decimal counterpart if the denominator is multiples or powers of 10. So using our first example once again, this time around I want to explain so you understand. So we had 7 over 10. You see, there is actually no whole number. This is not a mixed fraction. There is no whole number. So comparing it to our decimal place value system, the whole number side is 0. So 0, then point. It is a tenth. You see, it is a tenth. Just as in normal place value system, if you say ones, then you mean you are talking of 1 digit. If you say tens, then we are talking of 2 digits. If we say hundreds, then we are talking of 3 digits. You should understand that when it comes to decimals, when we are talking of tenth, when the denominator is a 10, then we simply mean 1 digit after the decimal place, and that is just 7. You see, That is one way to convert it. Another way is whatever number you have as the numerator, just write that down. So we have 7. And you know, for every number at all in the world, there's a decimal point after it, you see. But then, due to the denominator, we are going to move it. So if you want to move, you ask yourself, how many zeros do you have? It is just 1. So we move it just once for it to come and then be here. So with this, it is 0.7, 0.7, which is the same as what you have over here. Now, what if we have 3 over 100? 3 over 100. So 100 in terms of decimals, we said, look at where it ends. 2 decimal places, 2 digits at the decimals, you see. So in that case, we are going to get the 3 being at the 100th place value. That is 0, 3 with your decimal over here. So 0.03. But if you want to use this idea, which I think is simple, you just write your 3. Then with your 3, you know there's a decimal point over here, right? And understanding numbers, we know that if you have to put zeros as you want before the 3, it would not mean anything, you see. So with that, we ask ourselves, how many zeros do we have at the denominator? There are 2 over here. So you take this decimal point and move it 1, 2, 2 times, you see. So at the end, you are going to get your 0, 0. That is these 2 zeros you have over here. So 0, 0, and then point. This 0 comes 0, and then 3. As simple as that. Which you can choose to erase this other 0 because it doesn't change the value or whatsoever. Now, what if you actually have a number that is a mixed fraction? So let's look at this mixed fraction we have over here. We want to change it into its decimal form using the place value system. That is, if you understand, you have 2 whole number. The 2 is a whole number, so you just put your 2, then point. Remember, 3 over 100 was 0.03, you see. So you have your 0.03, and trying to add all together, you have your 2.03. But if you want to actually use the second method, which is quite simple, then you are going to first of all change your fraction into its improper form. So that I have 2 times 100. 2 times 100 gives us 200. Then 200 plus 3. We get 200 and then 3 all over 100. You see. So since our numerator is 203, we just write that 203 down. You are dividing it by 100. So with your decimal point here, division by 100 simply means move the decimal to the left, the number of zeros you have here times. So there are 2 zeros here. So we are going to move our decimal to the left 2 times. You have 1, 2. You see, so with that you have 2.03. You see, so understanding the place value system of decimals helps you, and then using this method also will help you as well. So this is just the first part of our decimal system. In our subsequent videos, we'll look at other conversions where you have the denominator not being 0. So as usual, I'll leave you some exercises so you try on your own to test your understanding. So here are some questions you can try on your own. They are just about 5. It is just an application. And I do hope you'd be able to do all of them. They are very simple and then direct as well. Now, let's have Beyond Numbers where we learn maths the easy way. If this is your first time on this channel, and then you think it will be of help to you, you can choose to subscribe if you so do wish, so that anytime I release a video, you'll be notified as well. See you in our next lesson. Bye for now. Stay blessed.